Thursday, once again, and back home in Texas to do it. Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome back, I hope, to ADRAMADA, another Dave Rush Ask Me Anything Digital Alchemy. And I am your host, the Commodore of ADRAMADA, Dave Rush. And you are the wind in the sails of this little get-together. You are the proud, the ADRAMADA Armada. Let's try this again. I don't know if my sound effects is working when I go through Zoom. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Don't know. But anyway, so glad to have you here. We have an interesting show today. Lots of good tech news, and our special guest, Laura Tait, today. We'll talk about her and why she's here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're here because we love tech. We like to talk about it in all of its formats, certainly in the IT direction and all kinds of other directions. And I'll have a question for you, a tech question. Maybe we can talk about it here. It's, kind of inconvenient doing it with short text messages. So maybe we open up a channel on the Discord server, but whatever, we got good stuff to do. So today is Thursday, March 28th, making this Holy Thursday. Tomorrow, March 29th, Good Friday, and 2 days later, March 31st, Easter. Today is noteworthy because there wasn't much in the news. The only thing that I found interesting enough that I thought I'd share with you, in 1930, the two Turkish cities of Constantinople and Angora changed their names to Istanbul and Ankara. That's all I got out of the good stuff. So eep op ork we are doing it. Okay, contacts. So we run a Discord server. If you are not already there, check the chat feed right now, and you will find the link and invitation to it. If you want to contact me, that's a great way to do it. If I'm awake, I'm logged in and I'm seeing it. And if you'd like to contact me in other more intimate setting, let's call it less public. Anyways, there's a couple of email addresses, and there will be more. How's that? Last week's show topic, I did a road show from Ohio, and we talked about 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, 2.5 GBE. It's not just coming, it's here. And I'm looking around trying to decide what, if anything, I should do about it. And the answer is I should do something about it. I've got a number of modern machines with good USB 3 ports. And so I'm going to change out 2 of my switches. Well, one router, one switch, to support 2.5 GBE, and I will slowly begin upgrading using donglage to get that 2.5 GBE. So it'll be fun. Show topic today, we are not going to do 2 things. I'm doing 1 thing. We have special guest going to join us about the half an hour, Laura Tait, and she joins us to talk about operating a PC support business. And I think we're going to spend enough time with her, and we've got enough news that I'm not going to do the other thing that I had planned. I'm going to shoot that for next week, which is going to be globbing. I love that word. I hope you got to see the CIQ Thursday webinar earlier today. It was a presentation interview with Jeremy Allison, the co-developer of Samba. We got a lot of great history on that, from CIFS to Web NFS to Samba to SMB, and 15 years of SMB doesn't like Samba. At least the company that ran SMB doesn't like the cloners, then whatever you want to call them, who were developing Samba. But after about 15 years, they found a need for each other, and now they are hand in hand, happy, healthy galore. Other things, upcoming shows and events, and Good Friday, Easter did it. Lunar eclipse this Monday, right? April 1st, April Fool's Day. Depending on where you are in the world, it'll be different places. I'm going out to hill country in Texas, a little west and maybe a bit north of Austin, Texas, to catch it there. Following 3 days later, we're going to do an episode on globbing. 4 days after that, we have the lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse is going to happen on Monday night, Sunday morning, whatever it is, the 31st, April 1st. Monday, April 1st at I don't know, 1:30 in the morning, something funky like that. Then on Thursday we got globbing. Then on the 8th we have the solar eclipse. For that, I'm going out to West Texas. Show on the 11th is up in the air, maybe the snake oil show. This on the 12th and 13th, which is not a Thursday. I will be out again in Austin for the Texas Linux Fest. And then the show on the 18th from CIQ Rocky, Greg Soul. And he had a show tonight that I wanted to watch, but I'm too busy prepping and setting up here. I'll watch the archive on it. His take on Proxmox versus VMware. I love that he did that because we did 2 episodes on PyMox, Proxmox for Raspberry Pi. Proxmox is a Type 2 virtual machine host. And I am seeing, look, VMware got bought by Broadcom, and Broadcom made a move that's made a lot of very unhappy customers and resellers. And Proxmox is the heir apparent replacement alternative for the people who have a bitter taste in their mouth from this activity. So we are seeing myself and CIQ, and I saw a couple others who are lining up doing, was it 45 Drives? Maybe, who did a show on their take on the differences between the two. So clearly there's kind of a grassroots movement to have people at least look at and evaluate Proxmox as a viable replacement for VMware in some situations. So yeah, it was 45 Drives. Okay. 2 things, then I'll look and see who all's here. I bit the bullet. I have an X account, formerly Twitter, at DRushTX. What a surprise. All my account names. I was thrilled that nobody had taken the DRushTX name and finagled it onto there. It was just wide open, first attempt. So that was cool. And then I set up a Mastodon account as well. Mastodon's a little different animal because there are bazillions of Mastodon servers. You can self-host your own Mastodon server. I went with their primary original one for now. I will build my own at the end of April and move my account over there. You still have access to all of the other Mastodon information, contacts, feeds, and all that good stuff. The basic difference, the reason to set up your own Mastodon server is you can create your own rules for people signing in, and whether or not it's family friendly and all that stuff. So I don't really feel a desperate need to make a Mastodon server, but CIC because I can, CIC because it's cool. So I will do that, and I'll port my name over, and we'll do that. Not here, stunning at DRushTX, and right now I'm in the Mastodon.social server. So let's see who has joined us, what the world's got to say. Tullout in early, way early, 7 hours early. Welcome. Patricia Grace, hour before or so. Welcome. Good to see you back. And me and Jason Helms right on schedule. What's up, everybody? Sup, Tullout? How's island life? I'm much more concerned, and we have our answer with Tullout's family members. So glad they are on the mend. Prayers answered. Huzzah. I need a closer look at that t-shirt. Do you now? I could sit up instead of slouch. Maybe that'll turn up. If you saw my greeting today, I decided to tie a greeting and a shirt together. My greeting is, what's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? That's how we calculate it. Can I get that down any lower just for a sec? Yeah, that works. Let's put this back up here because we have Laura coming in. I want her to see her welcome sign. She's watching right now. I know she is. Come here, you. Move that, move this. All right, close enough. Saw that 5G internet. Hey, Sunny and Mango are back. Wow, long time. Great to see you guys. It's usually just Sunny or just Mango, but it's the joint account, so that's cool. Someone's birthday is coming up next month. Carol Burnett. I keep track of her birthday. She is born on April 26th, something or other. I don't know what year, but don't ask me how I know that. Joey Quetzal's here. Super. Does globbing include the turbo and globulator and its ore? Yes, absolutely. I love the turbo and globulator. Yahoo. Yes, from Mike's AMA, but Mike took it from something that was done way farther back than that. Abu Bakr Al-Hajj is here. Hey, that's right. He's doing the pink waving hand because Shaya's not here. Okay. Which server is the main one? Mastodon.social. Good. Your father's all better. I'm so pleased to hear it. FYI, YOLO Box Ultra worked so good. I missed it Sunday. Can't remember what my excuse is, but Sunday was a very occupied day for us. And as you may know, I finished a 2-day trip from Ohio back to Texas. It was a long drive. Yes, looked at the early version from an old show. Very good. All right, well, let's see what's going on in me notes. We got stuff to get through, and then we've got Laura to join us here. I saw a thread in the last day or so on LinkedIn, kind of tripped my trigger. I just wondering what you guys think about this. It was a claim that phones, your phone right here, right now, is fast becoming a closed network, meaning, by the way, I didn't have this up. I hope you can hear me. That we don't answer phone calls unless we recognize the number, or unless we're expecting a call. So it's a closed network. You don't accept outsiders. They must be pre-recognized. And the thread continued on to posit that email is headed there because of our excellent spam filters and things like that. Things that aren't in your approved list or things like that automatically get sent to spam buckets or other buckets. And it makes cold emailing impossible. And maybe that's good, and maybe that's not bad. I am the poster child to confirm both of these closures. I literally never answer unknown calls or unknown numbers. Sometimes I will check afterward and find out that I should have answered, and I'll call them back or whatever, but that's pretty rare. My email spam filters are expansive. So I check my spam buckets every few days and sometimes find stuff there that should have stayed in the inbox. Patricia Grace sent me an email a couple of months ago, and I hadn't checked spam bucket in some time and didn't check it for some time until after she said that she had sent it. And I thought, well, I better look in there. Hey, look, there's the missing email. So I'm just curious what your experiences are. Do you answer unrecognized numbers? I know people who do. I find myself shocked. I want to offer advice. Don't answer that. But, it's not my business. How do you feel about that? Same for email. And, can we hold this conversation here? Certainly we can do onesie, twosie sentences, but I wonder if we should open this discussion on a channel or create a channel on the Discord server, because I think this is fascinating. So Joey Quetzal says, I usually wait for a voicemail. If no voicemail, then it's probably not important. I exactly feel the same way. If it's legitimate, they'll leave me a message. Rarely answer questions from unknown numbers, says Patricia Grace. I'll keep poking back at that. Tech news of the week. Oh, I didn't set up give me 14 seconds to set up an image share. Shows. Today's show. Images. Und then we share. Share is done on Zoom. Get rid of that. And open up this. There we go. Okay, now we're sharing. So, a few shows back, I devoted 2 episodes to installing and touring Pop OS on Raspberry Pi. And at that time, there were several methods to find and install apps, including the Pop Store. System 76, the maintainers of Pop OS, have announced that the April release of Pop OS, which I think is going to be release 24, but I may have that conflated with some other notes down the road here. There will be a new store replacing the Pop Store. It's called the Cosmic Store. You may recall that the desktop environment is a custom creation called Cosmic, so Cosmic Store. Not much detail, promises to have major improvements over the Pop Store. And one thing that I'm hoping for is that searches will speed up, because the problem for me with the Pop Store was, as you started to type in something, let's say I wanted to put in Apache, I might get as far as typing APA, and then I couldn't type anymore because it had to filter out everything that didn't start with APA. And then finally, it gave me a list of everything that started with APA, and now I could type in C, and the list would filter again and filter again. It's very slow. It's very cumbersome. So I got to believe that that will be improved. So we'll see what they do with it, what the other improvements are. When the April release comes out, we'll update my Pop distro and check it out. If it's worthy, we'll do another show. And I also saw a post from System 76 that version 2404 will release on schedule, but the Cosmic Store will not release with that. It's going to be delayed. So that thing's not coming out in April, but the distro will. Slide 2. This is effectively a message that I got. I wasn't trying to access axioart.hu, but there, all of a sudden, one day, there was a handful of sites that I couldn't browse on any of my browsers. So the 6 steps of troubleshooting: identify the problem. Problem was some websites are inaccessible. Gather information. So I got to do some pre-troubleshooting. Try different browsers on the same machine. Try other machines in the house. Same results. Try other machines not in my house. That works. Could it be Pi-hole? I shut off my Pi-hole. Nothing, no change. So, okay, I've got some information, and by virtue of the fact, I could get to them on other machines. So, coupled with those 4 or 5 pieces of factual information, I was able to do the next step, formulate a theory. And my theory is there was some setting in this computer that has changed. Test the theory. So I checked Windows Defender and the advanced firewall, nothing obvious there. I checked my 2 built-in pop-up blockers. They showed no blocking on the problem pages. I checked my antivirus. I use Avast on this computer, logs, or on the computer that had the problem. And there were log entries showing the sites that were inaccessible had been blocked and the reason. Okay, my theory is confirmed. There is some setting on this computer that has changed, and the change was Avast updated. And I just accept those updates, hopefully just like everybody else. Okay, but whatever this new update is, it added some more and new restrictions, and it restricted sites that I access and trust regularly. So they gave me the reasons why they blocked them and what their new rationale is. And I looked at those reasons and said, I can live with allowing those through based on your reasons. So I whitelisted those sites in my Avast, and that was my test to fix. It worked, all back to normal, all blocked sites now accessible again. So document for future, done and saved in my document system troubleshooting folder, and take steps to prevent future occurrences or create procedure for quick recovery. That I also did in my documentation. So the takeaway here isn't that the 6 troubleshooting steps work. They do. But be aware of the impact of any kind of auto updates to your operating systems and your applications. We got spacey news. Comet 12P/Pons-Brooks, discovered in 1812, becomes visible to the naked eye now, tonight, this week. And it will reach perihelion on April 21st. But if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's only going to be visible for a few more days. This was taken on March 5th. Oops, that one wasn't. This one was. There we go. That's the March 5th photograph. That's Andromeda on the upper left. And this is called the Horned Comet because, well, you can't see it very clearly in this picture. It does have a split tail. You can see this with the naked eye. And did I put a star chart up here on how to find it? No. Look it up. Pons-Brooks or Horned Comet. And you figure out where to spot that thing. If you've got a pair of binoculars or a telescope, it'll be very, very visible. It will brighten a bit as it gets closer to the sun, be visible to the naked eye. Here we go. In the low in the west, about an hour after sunset, in the northern hemisphere for about another week, and then it's going to disappear from the northern hemisphere and be visible in the southern hemisphere for a few weeks. So check that out. I have used binoculars to check it out. After April 2nd, it will move into the daytime sky. This is cool. It's going to be in the daytime sky after April 2nd. What do we got going on April 8th? A total solar eclipse. You may be able to see this if you're in a decent path of the eclipse and it gets nice and dark during the day. This could be just beyond cool. I mentioned in upcoming that we've got a lunar eclipse coming up. How are we doing here on time? Okay, good. They call it a worm moon because the August full moon is the worm moon. And it will be visible on Monday. It's not going to be a great one. It's not going to be blood red or even very maroon. It's just going to be fairly heavily shadowed. But lunar eclipses are fun and they're great to photograph. What do we got? I like this. Referred to as the worm moon by the Farmer's Almanac due to its proximity to the spring equinox. And it will be at its fullest on Monday a.m., 3 a.m. Eastern time. That's when it's fullest. It starts at around a little after midnight, 1 a.m. And if you check earthsky.com, you get a lot more information on that. 2 more news items. NASA has just launched Burst Cube. It's a cube satellite with a lot of expandable solar panels because they're going to do some measurements of things that we know happen, but they've never had a dedicated instrument up there to check it out. And those are GRBs, gamma ray bursts. They are the most intense kind of rays that reach the Earth. They can come from exploding stars and quasars and all kinds of goodies like that. And we've done a very limited job of researching them. So they're sticking a CubeSat up there to keep an eye on them. They can be detected visually. They can be detected with gamma ray detectors. And historically, it's very seldom that the two arrive coincidentally. Often they arrive at different times, sometimes even different days, depending on how far out they originate. So it's going to be a cool thing. GRBs can last anywhere from a few seconds to as much as several hours. They are caused by huge explosions characterized by an initial, very intense flash of gamma rays, followed by emission of energy at longer wavelengths in the form of X-rays, UV, or other forms of electromagnetic emissions known as its afterglow. Last one. I like archaeology, but we're going to call this one a story on settled science. And you know my belief on settled science. There's no such thing. They're always changing the game on it. Oh, well, it turns out we were wrong, even though we said that was the answer. So this is called the hand of, I can't pronounce it, Irulagai. Close enough? Who knows? It was discovered in northern Spain back in 2021. It's about 2,000 years old, toward the end of the Iron Age and into the Bronze Age. This thing is bronze. It's about 6 inches high, 5 inches across. It is a hand with symbols on it, which are recreated here for your reading pleasure. Previous research into these inhabitants seemed to indicate, here we go, the settled science, they were pre-literate with no form of written communication. However, this discovery, named after the site where it was found, not only refutes that assumption, but includes clues to the origin of, ready for this, the Basque language. Okay, Basque, northern Spain. Basque is an unusual language because it has no known linguistic relatives. It is an isolated language. So the fact that this is up here, there are characters in there that they were able to actually determine that very first word, probably pronounced something like Sorianiku. And there is a modern Basque word called Zorianiku. Only difference is a Z at the beginning instead of an S. And Zorianiku means good fortune. They think because of the hole at the palm of the hand that this might have hung over a doorstep. They have no idea what the other words are yet, but not settled science. Our pre-literate people appear not only to have been literate, but they've developed a language and a written language, and holy Hannah, huh? I got 2 minutes. I'm going to do a new thing I'm calling quick bites. No slide. So let me unshare this. Quick bites, little news items that I'm not going to get into and not making slides about, just things for you to be curious about maybe, or just to know about. Blender 4.1 released 4 months after 4.0. A whole bunch of new features in a 0.1 release, including new supported file formats, quality of life, which I don't understand. I have no idea what that meant. Linus Torvalds releases release candidate 6.9. The current released official kernel for Linux is 6.8. So he's got his first release candidate for 6.9 coming out. More news on that in a moment. Fedora version 40 beta released, running Genome 46, or GNOME, some people call it. KDE Plasma 6. More news on that in a moment. And the current kernel 6.8. Now, KDE Plasma 6 has issues. And so we're on a point release or an O point release to fix some of the problems, including X11 crashes. It's version 6.03. Ubuntu LTS versions. News article this week, all versions since 1404 have now longer extended long-term support to 12 years. That's pretty cool. So version 1404 will now be supported until the year 2026, right? It came out in 2014, hence 14. Linus Torvalds has removed the EX2 file system support from the new release candidate kernel 6.9. So what does that mean? For most people, nothing. We're already on ext4. There's other alternative file systems out there. Lots of people use ext3. Lots use ext4. But there's some legacy folks out there who still use ext2, and that means they will not be able to upgrade to kernel 6.9 when it comes out. I don't know if it'll be installable as an after process if you want to mix up your own kernel and add support for it. But most users long ago abandoned ext2, so now it's officially deprecated. One last thing, and then we'll catch up with Laura. This is just a neat little article. I could expand on this for an hour. Don't want to do that. Top 10 most used Linux distros. And these were listed because of ease of use and availability of applications and a whole bunch of other criteria. I'm just going to give you a list from number 10 to number 1, and it doesn't include Android. And we saw last week or the week before that growth in adoption of Linux on traditional computers is accelerating like crazy. It's not huge. It's only up to between 3 and 4% now, but that's gigantic at the growth rate because it took 30 years to go from 0 to 3%, and then it only took 3 years or less to get from 3% to 4%. So it's accelerating. Number 10, Arch Linux. Number 9, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Number 8, Elementary OS, very Windows-like. Number 7, Zorin Linux. Number 6, Fedora Linux. Number 5, Manjaro Linux. I found that surprising. I would have thought Manjaro would have been a little less in the use thing. Number 4, OpenSUSE. Number 3, Ubuntu. Number 2, Debian. Raspberry Pi is based on Debian, Raspberry Pi OS. And number 1, most used Linux distro for ease of use and available apps. Patricia Grace knows this one. It is Linux Mint. All right, let me pop over here, see who said anything while we're doing that, and then we will invite and ask Laura to join us in about a minute or so. Let's see. Looked at the other version. Usually wait for a voicemail. Okay, we covered that. Here we go. Depends if it appears to be local. So you would answer a local call, a local number if you didn't recognize it, because a lot of scammers will use at least your area code to make that scam call and connect with you. Basque is the language given from the ancient alien astronauts. It could be. Maybe they introduced bronze to the Basque. Jason Helms, why does that text for that language have a Predator vibe to it? I kind of thought so too. There was something Klingon-esque, Predator. I love the countdown characters on the Predator watch. Well, he pretty much beat me on that comment. I didn't see it till now. Okay. Yep, Mint. There you go. I'm surprised it wasn't number 1 though. Which one? Oh, it was. Mint was number 1. Oh, you're surprised that it was number 1. Yeah, I kind of thought so too, but I don't know what criteria their default criteria or how they measured this. It may be kind of consumer oriented, but then Red Hat and OpenSUSE shouldn't make it that high in the list. Hey, well, anyways, it is about 30 minutes past the start of showtime, and perhaps Laura Tait, would you be so kind as to fire up your camera and come on down? Hey!
Hello.
Hey, you have audio. I have audio. Everybody can see and hear. Laura, somebody give me a thumbs up or a yay or a Hosanna in the highest. Hi, Laura. Great to have you here.
Oh,
There we
thank
go.
you.
Producer Grace says hi, and Tulowitz says you're following right along. By the way, are you watching on another monitor? The well, you no, you wouldn't have known. That's possible. Are you watching YouTube?
No, I'm not
Okay.
actually.
All right. So if any questions come up for you, I will read them and gather them up for you. So we're here, you're here because not so many of these people, but some of them, and certainly people who watch on our archive, want to get hired in the IT world. And it's sort of a common mantra that help desk is the gateway to an IT career. First of all, what do you think about that? Is that valid?
In my opinion, it depends on how good the help desk is. Most of the time, I think you'd be better off learning hands-on. That's just my personal experience with it. I've been doing this off and on now for several years, and I really enjoy this more than I do service desk work.
Fair enough. I would never claim that help desk is enjoyable to a lot of people, anyways. But
Yeah,
there's a lot of folks, and I have always believed that, not always, but in recent years, this is a tough economy right now for getting into IT. And so when you walk in with basic certifications and little or no hands on, you are pretty much relegated to sitting down at a desk and taking those calls and handling those
correct.
tickets. Okay, so other worlds in which I live, this is the world goal. I want to get into IT. And, some people are, I want to start an entry level position in security, in IT security. Well, kids, that's not going to happen unless your mom is the head of HR, because IT security is
Yeah,
not entry level. Help
it's
desk
not.
is things.
Yeah,
Okay, good. So what they do is they do a two-pronged and sometimes three-pronged approach. Mostly it's two, though. They go out and they try and pick up some certificates, like CompTIA certificates, A plus, Network plus, Security plus, Cisco certificates, whatever. And then they start throwing resumes out and are surprised because they're discovering what you just told us. Everybody is turning them down because they can't turn a wrench. They can't put a motherboard in a case. They can't swap out a hard drive. They have no real hands-on experience.
exactly.
You do. How did you
Correct.
get that?
Just doing things on my own. I built my own computer, and just if you don't do it hands-on, then you're never gonna learn. Reading a book alone doesn't teach you anything.
Absolutely. And their other approach, and sometimes it's a combination approach, is a formal degree, a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree. And that used to be a golden ticket. I've got a degree in uh, gosh, there was one or two of them back in the day. There was MIS. That was the first one
Yeah.
when I was manager of information systems, and we really never knew what that meant back then. But in theory, it was okay. You understand data systems, and you can be a manager. You'll never be technical, but you can manage technical people. And then there was this new thing, the IT degree, and the IT degree was and still is a coding degree. Okay, you're a programmer. And that's not a bad ticket. You can go out in the world
Yeah.
with a coding degree and get picked up as a coder, but you're not going to get it. Hi, kitty, kitty.
Oops, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Would you call him Travis?
No, her name is Squeaky.
Sweetie. Okay. Hi, sweetie.
Squeaky.
I'm not hearing that right.
I'm sorry, Squeaky.
Squeaky.
Yes.
Got it. Hi, Squeaky. So that works. And then, of course, there's been a whole bunch of breakouts of IT oriented degrees, but none of them prepare you. Nobody builds a PC in college. They read books, they learn theories. And so
Yeah.
that golden ticket is meaningless without some real hands-on education, or at least reading about it and getting certified with A plus or something like that. But still, companies will hire somebody who can turn a wrench before they will hire somebody with an IT degree or with an A plus certification.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
So you started gaining this experience just for the love of it. You built your, why did you build your first machine? What were you doing
Uh,
with it?
I was gonna make a server from it, to back up my files and all that, have it as a backup storage.
Wow.
So yeah,
Well,
it
that's
has
awesome.
free BSD on it, and I enjoy it. So
God, we love free BSD here. There was a story we did a couple of weeks ago about a person who installed free BSD on a computer 20 years ago for a company. And it was
uh-huh.
it wasn't a server. It was an off the shelf Intel consumer machine. And
Yeah.
he supported it for a couple of years, and then they didn't need him anymore. He disappeared. And 20 years later, they called him up and said, "Hey, can you come in and do some more on this thing?" It hadn't rebooted in the preceding 17 years. It'd never been updated, but it worked. It was incredible. So
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
an
it's pretty
OS.
stable. It's stable, yeah.
Boy, that is the purest definition of stability. And I think they said something like 70% of the apps that had been originally installed were still running. And so all
Oh
they wanted to
wow.
do was get the other three or four of them functioning again or updated or
Yeah.
whatever. So that's
You
cool.
dare do that on Windows machine.
Yeah. Well, in these other worlds in which I live, and I got a question for you here. I'm going to read this for you after this question. People say, all right, I can't get hired because I don't have hands-on experience. And I can't get hands-on experience because I can't get hired. How do I get hands-on experience? And I tell them, and many of us too, number one, build your own machine, do your own home labs, uh,
Exactly.
copy other people's labs. My favorite piece of advice is everybody studies by watching videos now. Great. Watch a video. And as soon as they do a demonstration, as soon as you see something happen, stop and recreate it. It may take you days, it may take you weeks to figure out what they did, what they had pre-set up in advance. What do you think about that?
Oh, I agree, definitely. And then make a portfolio of what you're doing.
Me too. Tell them that all the time. Wonderful. All right, let me see what's cooking up here in messages. Patricia Grace has two questions as postificated. My questions: are your customers mostly individuals, or do you provide business services? Okay, let's hit that one first because that was
Most,
in my list as well.
yeah, mostly individuals for right now. It's a one-man show.
Okay. And so I'm going to tie into that because the other piece of advice I offer these folks is you can't just sit at home and do projects and make a portfolio. That's great. You're going to learn a lot,
Yeah,
but you have to work with people,
correct,
whether you're doing it electronically or on voice or maybe even
correct.
face to face. So, um, I had this marvelous thought that I was going to go down the road, but you got to find ways to do these projects with people, support people, help your family, help your friends, help your
Correct,
neighbors, volunteer for.
correct.
Okay, and
Yeah.
when those all drop, I don't have any friends. My family doesn't like me, and I love. There are people who really do post that as okay. Hang out a shingle. Just take the skills that you have right now and make an ad on Craigslist that says,
Correct, or
I will
correct,
fix your computer. I will take out your malware. So I'm
correct.
kind of curious then how you started your business to do these kinds of things.
Networking, meeting other people, doing business networking events at the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, brilliant. I like that. I'm going to add Chamber of Commerce to my list of suggestions.
And
But yeah, I
passing
agree
out
with you.
business cards.
Networking. And I
Yeah,
know that you're active on LinkedIn because that's kind of how we first connected. You
correct.
started following me, and then I see you on the show, and we send messages back and forth. And it's been kind of fun growing this thing. I love this.
Oh, yes.
Patricia's next question. Well, you're heading out into the weeds, Patricia Grace, but I'll ask, what do you think of AI? Are you using AI? What's your favorite OS? We got that answer. Also, how do you stay current with technology? Excellent question. Like your favorite sites, conferences, meetups, etc. So that's a big basket to hit.
All right. I love Ars Technica for up to date information. Definitely TechNet as well is good too, and the Microsoft learning site.
Oh yeah.
They have some excellent learning tools there.
You find yourself on Tom's? Tom,
Yeah, it counts. It's like I don't go there all the time, but I do look in there every once in a while.
they're
But yeah, I
becoming a
know they're reliable.
yeah, they're very reliable. They're becoming a different kind of site than they used to be. It wasn't
Yeah,
just it used to be kind of a support information site. Now it's like a tech news site.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's see. Jason says that's just what he did. He made a media server and Chamber of Commerce. Okay, I can see that. Should have thought of that. Yeah, we all should have. You've nailed that one. All right, let me see. So your company and your website are called
PC Wizard.
okay. And it's pcwizard.net. And I had a pcwizard.me note somewhere. I screwed something up somewhere. What's the
That's
right
the
answer?
email. The
Okay.
email address is yeah, the got me at the end.
Got it. Okay. So PC Wizard, I'm going to post your website up here. Let's make
Yeah,
it
it's
Laura's
still a
website.
work in progress. So
Okay. PCWizard.net. That's fine.
yeah.
Mine's been a work in progress ever since I started this show, and I haven't moved it. So do you operate out of a storefront? Do you operate out of your home?
My home right now. I would like to have, I'd love to have a storefront and sell different things as well.
Oh, retail. I wonder
Yeah,
if there's money in
retail
retail.
slash retail. Yeah.
Very good. I hadn't thought about that. So we've got this answer, how customers find you, their networking, friends, and clients. So what are you doing for your customers? Are you fixing computers? Are you installing software?
Pretty
Other
much
things?
everything, almost everything under the sun. Yeah, scanning for malware. I have a customer that prefers me. That's got me on her phone directory.
I'd call my kids, but I got to call Laura first. So let me ask you this. A customer calls you and says, I have this problem, and you go, but they can't see you doing that. So you come across something that you're not well grounded in yet. How do you tackle that? How do you research it and
Just
or what's
Google.
you Google
Google,
it?
to be honest. Yes. Like everyone else does.
Absolutely true. Where did I go there? Okay. So yeah, I got that. You're running FreeBSD. I have a note here without a question. This is something that we talked about, and I talked to me about if you have any thoughts. Uh, a virtual private server. Are you running? Do you have a virtual private server, a VPS?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I eventually will set one up, but it's just been so crazy lately.
that's fine. This notepad that I have sometimes it's open. I'll throw a note in there and then I'll pull it out and put it in the right place later. So right after you built your own computer, it's a server i7 running FreeBSD. And then I've got this note that says VPS Alma Linux.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know why I put that there. So you didn't go the CompTIA certification route. How did you? I understand you built your first machine, but uh, how'd you learn to build your first machine? How'd you gain this pre-experience before you hung out a shingle?
Have to it, but they eventually will get certified when I have enough money.
Okay, so you use those kinds of resources, you just didn't
Yeah,
go bother to test.
exactly.
All right, that's cool. Um, they're saying I typoed on what I put in here. Laura's website, it's PC Wizards plural, isn't it?
The email address is plural.
Okay, PCWZARD, right?
Correct.
Whoever says I have it wrong, did you put an I in there?
Mm,
PCWZARD.net.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's no I in the actual
That's
website
correct.
address.
That's the way I posted it.
Okay.
Somebody try that again. And yeah, it's not wizard, it is WZ. So try that again, Jason. And Patricia asked about AI because, oh yeah, when we didn't go down the road of AI. So let me dig that one in and I'll read the rest of her question. So what do you think about AI?
It's got too many how can I say this politely?
Hey, be
Too
blunt. It's
many
okay.
yeah, it's definitely I think it's kind of a downfall because it just creates laziness in my opinion.
Ooh, I like
Look at
that.
generative AI art now. There's programs that you can get. All you have to do to make the artwork is typing a prompt, and it's just like this. You don't have to no creativity whatsoever.
I read an article just today where the powers that be were doing some comparative testing on human creativity versus AI creativity. And whatever their testing criteria is, we humans came in 50th place. But yeah, I agree with you. And we were having a little bit of a discussion on the Discord server the other day on AI. And I remember that you had kind of disdain for it because it does make people lazy. I agree with you. And you know, I carry that one step further. AI ain't always right.
Correct.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's very frightening. People believe it. Yeah,
Yep.
it's scary.
All right. So Patricia says, I asked about AI because I'm hearing suggestions to look into systems with NPU to do AI work locally. Curious if her opinion now is the same to buy new systems or hold off. I don't know what NPU is, Patricia Grace.
Me either.
Give us that, and then we'll reattack the question here. Would you buy is now a time to buy a new system or hold off? So let me ask that question generically, given the fact that tomorrow Intel will introduce 4 new chips, and the day after that, AMD will introduce several new ones, and the day after that, Broadcom will come up with a handful. How long do you make a computer last before you say, I got to get a new one?
Until it falls apart or misbehaves.
Not this machine, but the machine sitting next to me has a 4th generation Intel. I think we're on 13. It works. I babied it. I keep it alive. It's on its 3rd battery. It's a laptop.
Oh wow.
The original hard drive was long replaced with a 2.5-inch SSD,
Yeah.
but it's running Windows 10 and it gets updates every week. And one of these days I'm going to hit the power button. It's going to say, yeah, you must be kidding. But so if you're going to keep it running for these long periods of time, any advice?
Definitely take proper maintenance, clean it out regularly,
Oh man,
update
you're
it.
sure right. Dust is a
Especially
killer.
when you have cats.
Yeah. Yep, I can see that. And hey, back up your critical data.
Exactly, yeah.
I burned hundreds of megs in a mistake 3 months ago, and I will be paying for that my entire life.
Ouch.
Abu Bakr is asking, love Abu Bakr. He's been on with us for years. What advice would you give to someone who's new and wants to start a support company? Great question.
um like I stated earlier, network, and just do hands-on studying and all that.
So I know Abu Bakr's got some good hands-on experience, some real world business experience. It's about finding and keeping customers and then staying up to date.
Correct, pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So get that networking going, get the word out, Abu Bakr, get it on your various social media platforms, advertise in places where it's cheap to advertise. Get a website, set up a virtual private server. Patricia Grace says, "Oh, I love her. Way to go." You guys have talked together too. I've seen you messaging on Discord, so do
Yeah.
that. Good answer, says Patricia Grace. Neural processing units. No matter, love her AI answer. Okay. I don't understand neural processing networks. Should I get a new system? You got money? Yeah, get a new system. uh Tolowit, I'm not going to click on this link right now and read it. Give us a 10. Oh, you gave us a summary on NPU. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought NPU was a numerical processing unit like the old math coprocessor days, but nobody uses that term anymore, and math copros are long gone. All right, let's see what else I got in here. So you're self-taught, you've got a degree, you're working on a bachelor's, you've got an associate's in what?
Computer science.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
Comp sci. That was what I was calling IT. Comp sci is the broad
correct.
degree.
And like I
And
said, I
you
would
don't
love to get my certification too, so it would be nice to get those.
excellent. Well, definitely throw that out on the Discord server and we will get resources pointed your way. I know of a fascinating new resource. Should I do this? Nah, we'll talk about it. If anybody wants a marvelous, interesting set of study aids for CompTIA certs, shoot me a message in any of the channels on the ADRAMADA Discord server, and I will tell you a story, and then I will give you some information.
Okay.
So your whole livelihood doesn't currently come from PC Wizards. What else do you do?
Like I said, a help desk job right now until
Okay.
I'm
So you know the ins and outs. You know of where you
both
speak.
sides.
Very nice. And I asked you this before. This is a question that these guys love. We built a ticketing system. Own ticket, own something, own ticket, own, which I know you're not familiar with. But when I asked you what ticketing system you use, we did a lot on ticketing 2 years ago, and the one you're using, I think, was the number one most used one out there, and it is what?
Service now.
ServiceNow, which everybody
Yeah.
calls what?
No.
No, SNOW, ServiceNow. Uh, and it's funny, I've certainly been aware of ServiceNow. I've never used it personally, but after you and I talked, I was doing something with on Rocky sites, and oh, I took a class. I took a class over at Rocky, and we were doing their product called Ascender, which is kind of like Ansible on steroids. It's a an infrastructure as code, which basically means I can create a configuration file here on this computer and blast it out to 500,000 computers. And one of the exercises we did was updating or upgrading Snow on the machines that needed it. It was really cool because the coding here could check the version of Snow that was out there and say, oh, you don't need the upgrade. I'll leave you alone. You are way behind. You need the upgrade from 2 steps. And it was really fascinating. But
Yeah.
Snow is definitely a king dog. Do you like it?
It's okay. I mean, it's just part of the job to use it. So
All right. Do you use the cloud-based version? Do you use a locally hosted one from your company?
cloud.
Okay. That's the
Yeah.
easiest way by far and away.
Yeah.
Uh, is there a hard learning curve for it as a user?
No, no.
Pretty simple.
It was easy.
Okay. What is what's the most common service call that you have to perform, would you say?
The help desk,
Yeah,
account unlocks and password reset.
password resets. There is somebody here who's about to throw his thumbs up 21 times because, as I recall, he does the same thing and runs into that frequently. Where am I seeing you, Jason? And you got a nice shift.
Oh, I know, I love it. I'm spoiled.
What is it?
6 to like 2:30.
Okay. So that gives you plenty of time. It's 6 a.m. to 2:30. Some of
Yeah.
you guys aren't early risers and are having a heart attack, but if you're done at 2:30, then PC Wizards got plenty of daylight time.
Yeah,
You can do
exactly.
coolness. Uh, so I'm trying to phrase this question right because we talked about this a little bit before. if I'm pushing people, as I frequently do, to say, look, go after that first job, and that first job is probably going to be help desk. Let's say that they've got the credentials. They can do troubleshooting. They can have a pretty good idea how to reset a Windows password. And they're basically walk in, they're going to need a little more training. Can they get hired? Are there openings?
Help desk, there's a lot of openings, especially for level 1 help desk.
Okay.
It's
Do
just,
you see? Good.
I'm sorry, there's such a high turnover rate and burnout rate, which is a huge problem.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right, let me see what else is popping up here. Oh, there's a great question. Let's see. All right, going back to Jason here at 55. How we doing on time? We're going to take a couple of these questions and then we're going to close things down. Seems like I got quite a few new systems lately. Oh yeah, right. You did. That's a different thing. Okay. Patricia Grace wants to know if you're an artist. She gets an artistic vibe from you.
Yeah, I do make so a lot of my own things too
Oh,
on
that's
the
so
side.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm a guy. I don't pick up on that. No, I'm not a guy. I'm an old guy. So I just don't have that feel. Nice. What else here? Always fun. Abu Bakr's loving you as well. That's awesome. Jason's current most common problems are printer issues, he says. And there we go. Passwords and lockouts, says Jason after that. Pebcax says Tullowit. Likely your most common service calls. Good guessing. Last question, and then we'll close things up. Oh, by the way, JPJ is back. He calls it Hell Desk, not Help Desk.
Yeah, yeah.
You're there, huh? Okay.
I'm right with him on that.
Patricia Grace wants to know, do you recommend going to SSDs or do you still rely on HDD for long-term storage? Or you mostly relying on cloud services for data storage?
That's a good question. I don't, for backups, I use my own storage. Um, I use the mixture of SSDs and HDDs. It doesn't really matter that much, I don't think anymore. I think it's gotten to the point where SSDs are pretty much close to HDDs. I think. I don't.
Yeah, I think especially as you look at the what they call the pro versions that support a lot more read write cycles.
Correct.
Hey, well, I'm going to wind this thing up, but Laura Tait, I've been working on chasing you down and getting this worked up for so long. I'm so pleased it happened. And I'll give everybody a little bit of inside baseball. Laura and I started working together today about 3 hours ago, trying to work out some audio and microphone problems. And
Yeah.
finally, about an hour before showtime, we got all our ducks in a row and my heart started beating again. I kept offering her, if you want to push back, if we got tech problems, we'll do this another time. And I so did not want to do that. I've been working so hard to get this. You are a wealth of information and background. Laura is on our Discord server. I posted the link for that at the beginning of the show. You take questions from anybody anytime?
Anytime, yeah.
Wonderful.
Anytime when I'm awake.
Yeah, I can imagine your nights are pretty exhausted and
Yeah.
zonked out city. Hey, well, everybody, as ever and always, I thank you for coming. We will do more of these things. Laura was great. We've got some other great guests up and coming. Our next scheduled guest is on April 18th, Greg Soul from CIQ Rocky. He also has a weekly show of his own now, and we'll talk a little bit about that with him. I think I'm going to make that almost a feature because he does such amazing stuff. Everybody catch us on Discord and all the other platforms that I'm on. I guess I got to go to my shutdown thing here. Yeah, let's do this thing. So I wish you all a great rest of the week. Take care of each other. Take serious steps to stay healthy. And if at all possible, call or visit your parents. And of course, never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resources we have are you and I. And with that, I bid you good night. I'll see you on ADRAMADA next Thursday on the other platforms that I'm on. Remember, we got lunar eclipses coming up. We got solar eclipses coming up. We got the horned comet in the sky. Keep looking toward the skies, like old Jack Horkheimer used to say. I think that was his name. Until then, remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. Awkward stare. Stick around for a second, Patricia. Stick around for a second, Laura.
Okay.